My name is Julia Evans, and I am a 52-year-old school teacher from a small town outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, I'm going to share with you my near-death experience testimony, a journey that not only challenged my understanding of faith, but also showed me visions of the future that are both sobering and enlightening. Before we dive into this profound experience, I'd love to know where you're watching from. It's comforting to feel connected, even when we are physically apart. Please don't forget to like and comment on this video. Share your thoughts and feelings about near-death experiences. Let's build a community of open and respectful discussion to enrich our collective understanding. Now, let's begin. The night was quiet, eerily calm. As I lay in my hospital bed, struggling with the complications of a sudden, severe illness, the room began to dim. The bustling sounds of the hospital faded into a profound silence, and a luminous figure appeared at the foot of my bed. It was Jesus, his presence overwhelming, and his gaze piercing into the depths of my soul. "Julia," he said, his voice both comforting and commanding, "tonight, you will come with me. There are things you must see, events that will soon test the faith of many." Terrified yet filled with an inexplicable peace, I felt my spirit lift from my body. As the earthly realm slipped away, I found myself soaring towards the heavens, hand in hand with the Savior. The world below faded into a tapestry of lights and shadows, and the adventure of a lifetime began. As we ascended beyond the earthly realm, the physical discomfort from my illness melted away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of spiritual clarity. I, Julia, a dedicated school teacher, found myself traveling through a radiant expanse of light and sublime beauty, hand in hand with Jesus. The sense of peace was extraordinary, yet beneath it stirred a profound solemnity. I understood that this journey was not an ordinary one. It was a divine mission imbued with deep purpose. "Where are we going?" I asked, my voice filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "We are moving beyond the confines of time and space to witness the events that will soon challenge the faith of many," Jesus replied, his voice resonant with warmth and command. "You must see these things to prepare yourself and others." Our first vision emerged as the scene of a global assembly where leaders from across the world gathered in a large, ornate hall, ostensibly to negotiate a new era of peace. The setting was marked by a tense optimism, with diplomats and representatives engaged in fervent discussions. However, the atmosphere changed when a particular leader took the stage to speak. This leader, charismatic yet bearing a disquieting aura, proposed a peace treaty that captivated the entire assembly. His words were eloquent, filled with promises of harmony and an end to conflicts that had long plagued certain regions. Yet, as he spoke, Jesus leaned closer to me, his expression grave. "This is the second major event," Jesus explained quietly. "This treaty is a facade, one that will lead to one of the greatest deceptions of your time. Many will be swayed by these false promises of peace." I watched as the assembly erupted in applause, the leaders seemingly united in their support for the treaty. The leader's smile was triumphant, yet there was something chilling about it. It was a smile that hid darker intentions that were not aligned with the divine wisdom I knew from my faith. "The words spoken here today will sow seeds of great turmoil," Jesus continued. His tone was somber, reflecting the seriousness of the deception. "This event will test the discernment of my followers. It challenges them to see beyond the surface, to question and pray for divine insight rather than being carried away by the wave of popular sentiment." As the vision faded, the gravity of what I had witnessed settled heavily upon me. It was not just the potential global impact of the deception that troubled me, but the realization that many people of faith would be swept up in the enthusiasm of the moment potentially losing sight of their spiritual vigilance. "Why show me this?" I asked, feeling the weight of responsibility that came with this knowledge. "To prepare you, Julia. You are to be a beacon of hope and discernment. You will share what you have seen, helping others to navigate these turbulent times with faith and wisdom. Through you, many will learn to seek my guidance when faced with decisions that affect their souls and the world around them," Jesus responded, his gaze intense, impressing upon me the importance of my mission. As we moved on from the vision of the deceptive peace treaty, the serenity of the celestial journey resumed. However, the peace was now imbued with a sense of duty and purpose. My journey was far from complete. There were more events to witness, more divine lessons to be understood. But in that moment, between the tranquility of the heavenly realm and the looming challenges of earthly affairs, I grasped something crucial. My faith was not merely a source of personal comfort, but a calling of great consequence. It was both a shield and a beacon, meant to be wielded with purpose and shared with conviction. This insight was daunting, yet uplifting, as I steeled myself for whatever else Jesus had to show me on this extraordinary voyage. Following the chilling vision of the deceptive peace treaty, Jesus guided me further into the celestial realm. The beauty of the journey remained unparalleled, with ethereal landscapes that seemed painted with divine light. Yet, the knowledge of what was to come cast a shadow over the awe-inspiring scenery. "We must move on, Julia. There is more you need to see," Jesus said, his voice a gentle yet firm reminder of the seriousness of our mission. Our next vision materialized quickly, shifting the scene to a small, quaint village nestled in a valley. It was the type of place where everyone knew each other, and faith was a cornerstone of the community life. The village church, a simple stone structure, stood proudly at the heart of the village, its doors open to all. As we observed, a Sunday service was underway. The congregation sang hymns with a passion that resonated even in our heavenly vantage point. Their faith was palpable, pure, and deeply rooted in tradition and love for one another. But this serene worship was about to be disrupted in a way that would test the very core of their beliefs. Suddenly, the doors of the church burst open. Armed forces stormed into the sanctuary, their faces stern and unyielding. The service halted abruptly as confusion and fear spread through the congregation. The soldiers declared that the church was violating new national regulations that restricted religious gatherings in the name of maintaining public order. "Julia, this is the third major event," Jesus explained as we watched the distressing scene unfold. "Persecution will come to those who hold steadfast in their faith. This trial will test the resilience and courage of my followers." The congregation was forced to disperse, with several members being detained for resisting the orders. I watched as an elderly man, his face marked by years of faithful service, was led away in handcuffs, his Bible clutched tightly in his hands. The pastor, a middle-aged woman with a kind yet resolute face, tried to calm her flock, reminding them of the promises of God and the strength found in unity and faith. "The persecution you witness today will grow more common as the world shifts under the weight of its own decrees," Jesus continued. His tone was filled with sorrow for the suffering of his people, but also with pride for their unyielding spirit. These believers show us that even in the face of direct opposition, the spirit of faith burns brightly. True strength is found not in freedom from trials, but in the courage to face them head-on. As the vision faded, I felt a profound sadness mixed with admiration for the bravery of the villagers. The reality of their faith under pressure was both inspiring and daunting. It was a reminder of the power of conviction and the often high cost of discipleship. Why must they suffer so? I found myself asking. the pain in my heart mirroring the injustice I had just witnessed. To refine and test their faith, as gold is tested in fire, Jesus responded softly, and to remind others that my kingdom is not of this world. Those who endure will shine like stars for eternity. The vision left a deep imprint on my soul. It was a stark portrayal of the challenges and trials that lay ahead for believers around the world. As we moved away from the scene, the celestial peace enveloped us once again, but the echoes of the hymns sung in defiance of oppression lingered in my ears. This part of the journey was a powerful testament to the enduring strength of faith in the face of adversity. It prepared me to carry this message back to the world, a message of hope, resilience, and the promise of divine presence through every trial. As Jesus and I continued our celestial journey, the serenity of the heavenly realm stood in stark contrast to the tumultuous scenes we had witnessed. Despite the comfort of his presence, a sense of foreboding grew within me. Jesus' expression, solemn and contemplative, prepared me for the gravity of what was yet to come. "We must proceed, Julia. There is another vision you need to see, a glimpse of a more sinister challenge that lies ahead," Jesus said, guiding us toward a new scene that slowly materialized in the celestial mist. This time we found ourselves looking down upon a sprawling technological complex, its architecture sleek and imposing. The air was thick with a sense of efficiency and cold precision. Within this facility, people moved about, their actions seemingly choreographed by the invisible hand of advanced technology. At the heart of this complex was a large, dark room filled with screens displaying all corners of the globe. Here, technicians monitored and manipulated data on a scale that was staggering. The atmosphere was one of control. Control over information, control over public opinion, and, most disturbingly, control over individual freedoms. "This is the precursor to a more sinister event," Jesus explained, his voice a whisper, yet carrying an urgency that echoed in the depths of my soul. "Here, the seeds are being sown for a global deception, a manipulation that extends beyond technology into the very minds and spirits of people." The scene shifted, focusing on a group of leaders who convened in a shadowy boardroom. Their discussion revolved around the implementation of a new digital currency system that promised to revolutionize economic transactions, but was, in truth, a tool for unprecedented surveillance and control. "These leaders," Jesus continued, "are laying the groundwork for an event that will test the discernment and resilience of many. It will be presented as a leap towards global unity and security, but its essence is to ensnare and to dominate." As we watched, the implications of their plans became apparent. The new system would not only monitor financial transactions, but also integrate with other digital services to track behaviors, movements, and even predict individual decisions. It was a blueprint for a society where privacy no longer existed, and personal autonomy was a relic of the past. "The challenge here is to recognize the true nature of freedom," Jesus said solemnly. "Many will be enticed by the convenience and security promised by this system, but true freedom comes from me, not from the systems of the world that seek to bind and control." The vision faded, leaving a chilling silence in its wake. I felt a deep unease, the darkness of the forthcoming event casting a long shadow over my heart. Yet, alongside this fear, there was also a growing resolve. Jesus had shown me these things not to frighten me, but to prepare me, to arm me with the knowledge needed to stand firm in the times of trial. "Why must these things happen?" I asked, my voice small against the vastness of our celestial surroundings. "They are part of a larger battle, a conflict between light and darkness that has spanned the ages," Jesus replied, his gaze piercing yet filled with an infinite compassion. "But remember, Julia, No matter how dark the world may seem, the light of my presence will guide those who choose to follow me. You are to be a beacon of that light. As we prepare to witness the final event, his words anchored me. I understood that my role was not just to endure these revelations, but to share them, to warn, and to empower others with the truth. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but it was also lined with the hope of divine guidance and the promise of eternal victory. After the ominous prelude at the technological complex, Jesus led me further into the celestial realm, where the stars seemed to whisper secrets of ancient times and truths yet to unfold. The serenity of the heavens was a sharp contrast to the storm brewing on the horizon of human history. We must now witness the culmination of these challenges, the event that will define the spiritual battleground for many, Jesus said, his voice serious yet filled with an underlying current of hope. The vision that unfolded was unlike any we had seen before. It took us above a grand assembly where leaders from all nations gathered. The setting was monumental, an arena filled with a sense of destiny and power. At the center, a charismatic leader took the stage, his presence magnetic, drawing the eyes and ears of everyone present. This man, Jesus pointed out, will claim to offer ultimate solutions to the world's crises. He will perform wonders and speak of peace and unity, but his heart is far from me. He is the deceiver, the one who comes to steal, kill, and destroy the fabric of true faith. I watched as the leader unveiled what he called the Global Unity Pact, a treaty that promised an end to wars and the beginning of a shared prosperity that was deeply enticing. Yet, as he spoke, I could see dark shadows swirling around him, a visual echo of the spiritual corruption that underpinned his words. The pact is a covenant with darkness, Jesus explained. It will seem to solve many problems, but it is a trap that will lead many away from the truth. This event will test the discernment of my followers more than any other. It is here that the true nature of each heart will be revealed. As the leader spoke, miraculous signs appeared in the sky above him, captivating the assembly with displays of power that seemed divine. Yet, there was a coldness in the air, a sense of dread that these signs were not from God, but from a darker source. "Julia, remember what you have learned," Jesus said, turning to me with a reassuring look. "The true miracles I perform are not just to dazzle, but to transform hearts and lives. Do not be deceived by mere spectacles that only serve to manipulate." The weight of his words settled in my heart as I considered the deception so many would face. It was a harrowing thought to know that even those with good intentions could be led astray by such powerful illusions. "Why is this allowed to happen?" I asked, the question heavy on my lips. "It is the final test of faith," Jesus responded, his eyes deep with the wisdom of the ages. "It allows every soul to make a choice based on free will, to choose true light over enticing darkness. These trials are necessary to refine and reveal the true followers who seek not only signs, but also the deeper truths of my word." The vision gradually faded, but the echo of the assembly's cheers and the deceptive leader's charismatic voice lingered, a haunting reminder of the battle for souls that was intensifying. As we moved away from the vision, Jesus' presence was a calm harbor in the storm of my thoughts. I realized that my role was not just to be a witness, but also a messenger, tasked with sharing these revelations to prepare others for what was to come. "Your faith and the faith of many will be tested," Jesus concluded as we approached the end of our journey. "But remember, I have overcome the world. Hold fast to what is true and lead others to do the same. Be a beacon of hope and truth in a time when both are in short supply." The enormity of the responsibility filled me with both trepidation and determination. Armed with the knowledge of these visions, I knew my mission was to light the way for others, helping them navigate through the deception with the truth I had been shown. As we returned to the threshold of the earthly realm, I felt fortified by divine strength, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with a renewed spirit and a steadfast heart. As our celestial journey neared its end, the transition from the heavenly realm back to the earthly one was both disorienting and enlightening. The visions had ceased, but their impact lingered, reshaping my understanding of the world and my place within it. Jesus and I stood once more in the hospital room where my physical body lay. The stark contrast between the divine clarity of the visions and the sterile clinical surroundings of the room was jarring. Yet there was a profound peace that enveloped me, a sense of divine purpose that transcended the mundane reality of my surroundings. "Julia, it is time to return," Jesus said, his voice gentle yet imbued with authority. "You have seen what few others have. Carry these revelations back with you, share them, live by them, and help prepare others for the trials and triumphs ahead." I looked at my body, lying motionless on the hospital bed, and felt a strange detachment from it. It was merely a vessel, yet it was the vessel through which I would fulfill my mission. With a deep breath, I felt my spirit drawn back into my physical form. The sensation was like waking from a deep sleep, disorienting yet unmistakably real. As I opened my eyes to the hospital room, the presence of Jesus lingered, though his visible form had faded. The memories of the visions were vivid, burning brightly in my mind. I knew they were too important, too urgent to keep to myself. They demanded to be shared, to be acted upon. The recovery from my illness was rapid, almost miraculous. Doctors were baffled, unable to explain how I had come back from the brink so quickly. But I understood. It was not my time to leave the world, not when I had so much left to do. In the weeks that followed, I began to share my experience. Initially, I spoke to my family and close friends, those who knew of my faith and respected the spiritual significance of my journey. Their reactions were mixed, ranging from awe to skepticism, but I remained undeterred. The truth of what I had seen was unshakable, and I felt a responsibility to warn, to prepare, to encourage. My story gradually reached a wider audience. I was invited to speak at churches, on local radio stations, and even at a conference dedicated to spiritual resilience in times of global crisis. The message was always the same: remain vigilant, hold fast to your faith, and be discerning in the face of deception. The transformation within me was profound. Where I had once felt uncertainty about my purpose, I now moved with conviction. My faith, already strong, was fortified by the knowledge of what was to come and by the personal commission I had received from Jesus himself. Yet, this transformation was not without its challenges. Some doubted, others criticized, but many more were inspired. They saw in my testimony a beacon of hope and a call to spiritual arms. As the world around us grew ever more uncertain, the clarity of divine truth became a rallying point for those seeking to navigate the tumultuous waters of modern life. As I embraced my role as a messenger, I found a new depth to my spiritual life. The visions had changed me, not just in mind, but in heart and soul. My journey back from death was not just a return to life, but a step into a broader, more impactful existence, one marked by purpose, guided by prophecy, and driven by an unyielding faith in the promises of God. As I reflect on the extraordinary journey I undertook with Jesus, the lessons continue to resonate deeply within me and within those who hear my story. It's not just a tale of visions and premonitions. It's a call to live with purpose, awareness, and a deep commitment to our faith. In sharing my experiences, I aim not just to inform, but to inspire. Each vision, Each moment with Jesus reinforced the fundamental truths of our faith, that trials and tribulations are inevitable, but so is the victory for those who remain steadfast in their belief and trust in God. To those who feel overwhelmed by the challenges of our times, remember that you are not alone. Just as Jesus was with me, guiding me through visions of future trials, He is with each one of us, offering His wisdom, strength, and comfort. We are called not to fear, but to faith, not to confusion, but to conviction. Let this testimony be a reminder to all. The power of our faith lies not in escaping reality, but in transforming it. By embracing the truths revealed through our trials, we prepare ourselves and our communities for whatever lies ahead. We become beacons of hope and truth in a world that desperately needs both. This journey has not only strengthened my faith, it has given me a mission to awaken others to the reality of God's omnipresence and our role in His divine plan. Together, let us move forward, fortified by faith and unshakable in our commitment to stand as witnesses of the light in a darkening world. Thank you for listening to me today. God bless you and your family.